All right, hey everybody, welcome to Zenfolio Live. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Support. Thank you for joining us here on the live Q&A. It's a very special episode today. As you can see, I've got a very special guest. This is the amazing Amanda. Amanda, why don't you tell us who you are, what you do, and why you're here to talk to us today?
Hey everyone, I'm Amanda, as Robert said. I've been working with Zenfolio and their customer support for about 4 years now, and I'm here today to talk about our handcrafted album and design service.
So you're here to talk about the easy album service that's actually inside of the Zenfolio account. Anybody who has, I think anybody who has a selling account can go enable this in their account today, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So Amanda, I also know that you are a very talented and amazing wedding photographer. So can you tell us a little bit about what you like about this service?
Well, as a busy photographer and a very busy mom, I have 4 kids of my own and a wife. I love how this service just frees up my time to go and do what I love most, which of course is shooting and meeting new clients.
So you said the service actually frees you up and gives you more time. Can you kind of go a little bit into how the service actually frees you up to do those kinds of things?
Absolutely. My clients work with a professional designer who works with them on how to create the perfect album. And I know that my client is getting the best care and the best service and the most qualified designer to work with them to go hand in hand through that redesign process, changing out photos, getting the best layout, just all that back and forth. It totally frees me up from having to do that myself.
So this is a service where your client is actually working with a designer, kind of taking the workload off of you of designing those albums and things like that.
Right, that's exactly it. They do all the work and I'm able to go out and shoot and meet new people, and then my clients still get a beautiful handcrafted album.
That's amazing, amazing. And you actually have some of your albums here that you've had with your clients, correct?
I do. I did bring a few along. I have this one here, which is client just a few years ago. This has the beautiful acrylic album cover, which has a really nice glossy shine, and I have to say it really just sells itself. Whenever a client sees it, it's just a wow moment.
Now that's the acrylic cover. So how many different cover options are available through the service?
Currently we have 3 options. We have the acrylic cover, we have the leather cover, which has 20 different genuine leather options, and I have one of those here as well. This is the navy, and as you can see, it does have the ability to be embossed right here. And then we also have the cameo cover, which is basically a picture that's embedded right into the album cover. Really nice beveled edges. It's very beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't have an example here to show today.
Okay, okay. And then can you kind of show us some of the layouts and stuff like that as well? And guys, before she jumps into that, I do want to mention Amanda's going to hang out with us for a little bit. So those of you guys that are watching, if you have questions about the service, if you have questions about the albums, anything you want to know about the Easy Album service, make sure you get those in the chat so Amanda can get those answered for you today. But go ahead, Amanda, and let's check out some of the albums inside them.
Right, yeah, right here, these are all custom layouts. So basically, the designer looks at your pictures and goes through each and every one and picks the best possible layout. People always ask me, exactly how many layouts are there? And I like to say is this really is not a cookie cutter service. It is that the designer is actually looking at and saying, hey, I know exactly what these photos need to stand out.
Right, so this is not just somebody taking a bunch of photos, throwing them into an album template, and then sending it off to your client. Like the designer is actually going through the photos, choosing the best ones, and custom designing this. I know I'm not a wedding photographer at all, but a bit of weddings that I have shot, I know that part of the biggest process of actually designing the album stuff is just going through and picking out the best photos. So can you kind of explain the process and what the designer is looking for and things like that?
Well, of course, we need those high resolution photos before you submit them. We want to have the best possible, biggest photos you have. But other than that, the designer is really going to be going through and culling your images for you. Basically, all you have to do is upload them and edit them. And then they'll go through each and every photo and make sure, they have a good facial expression, that eyes are open. Like you said, Robert, as a wedding photographer, you have to shoot a ton of pictures just to make sure the picture is coming out perfect. People, want has their eye closed and the next person has their eyes closed. So you're always shooting again and again just to make sure you get the right one. And the designer can actually take it from that point and make sure that that happens.
Right, so the designer is actually doing all of the culling for you, and then they actually work with your client via email. So kind of how does that process work as far as like the communication between the designer and the client?
It is usually an email-based system, and the reason why we do that is that we can have actual records of what exactly your client wants. When they get their either their selection or they get their design, they're able to make notes on each and every page, just letting the designer know, hey, I want this photo moved here, or I'd like to take this photo out, or hey, I found a different favorite photo, can I submit that one here in this spot? So it is usually done by email just so we have those records.
Okay. And then I know that at the end, after the designers worked with the client, they actually send them a virtual preview of the album. And then does the client from there get any kind of, like revisions or anything like that?
You get actually up to 5 different revisions, although we never really turn people down if they have a few more for free. But, like I said, we don't turn people down at all. We're more than happy to work with your client and make sure they're absolutely happy. We don't want this to be a painful process for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then the albums themselves, can you kind of talk about them just a little bit more? I want to make sure that people understand the type of quality that these albums are. I know that they are heirloom quality albums. There's a couple of different page options as well, right?
Yes, there is. We have the beautiful thick pages here, which I'll kind of show. I don't know if you guys can see it, but what kind of like maybe the thickness of a nickel. And then I do have the thin pages here too in this bar mitzvah book, which is probably more like the thickness of a credit card. So you do have that upgrade to the thicker pages, and it really gives your album a more luxurious feel. I mean, they're heavy pages, significantly turning them over, and is just a beautiful experience. Clients put their hands on them and like, oh, this really is quality. Again, they are printed on Kodak paper. They are guaranteed. They also have beautiful, lay flat pages, and I'll just kind of show you an example here. Let's see if I can get it. Example right here of the lay flat, and as you can see, this is a full page photo, and it is going into the middle of the book, and you can barely see any gutter at all, if not any gutter. It goes right through.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then I know you said they're custom designed by designers. So I know some of the questions that people might have is, how many photos do they need for an album? Is there a minimum amount? Is there a maximum amount? And things like that. So can you kind of shed some light on the amount of photos that people can use?
Sure thing. You need to have at least 40 photos in your gallery in order to see the little make an album button appear. We say that you can submit up to like around 280 pictures, but really, I think we really like to keep it around 125, 100, because you really want the photos to stand out, and you really want to show each photo in its glory. And if you're mashing all kinds of pictures on a page, that just isn't going to happen. So the designer really does work with your client to make sure that those photos are getting showcased in the way that you yourself would intend.
Perfect, perfect. Can you show us just a couple more pages really quick? I know we've got a video that we're going to show that's going to show these albums and things like that. I just want to show a couple of the examples there before we get into that. So is this what's called, I think, a parent album, right?
This is an 8x8 album, which it's not really a parent album. It's kind of, I would say, like an in-between size between your nice, big, wedding album sizes. It's kind of like a companion album, I would almost consider. So here's that. You can see a few of them. It's pretty nice color.
A very nice color.
Yeah, and this is just for a family session, so it's a pretty affordable price. The albums themselves start at $225, and as a mom myself, I love having photos of my kids and stopping time and going back and looking at them at that one moment. So just to go over the sizes that we offer the big 12x12, which is this one that I almost have trouble lifting. And then it is. It's really heavy. And then we have the 10x10 and the 8x8. And then we do have those parent albums for the parents of the bride or grandparents, which are 6x6 and 4x4.
So which one is your favorite? I think you said the acrylic, right?
I just love the cover. Honestly, you just show it to your clients and like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. You can just a significant feeling album. But that's not to take away from the other covers. They're beautiful as well. And I have to say that the leather even has a luxurious feel.
Awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, guys, I'm going to show you guys a video about the albums that we offer. And then if you guys in the chat have any questions about the album, about the service, or if you just have any questions for Amanda in general about her wedding photography or anything like that, definitely please feel free to get those in the chat. She'd be more than happy to answer any questions. If you guys have any questions about your Zenfolio account as well, make sure you get those in the chat. So what we're going to do is hop to a video really quick and let you guys see how these albums are actually created by hand and things like that, and then we will come back and take your guys' questions. So let me jump over to that video really quick. All right, Amanda, so we do have a question from the chat. I think it's Tracy. Tracy, I'm not going to try to say your last name. I'm going to mess it up. Sorry, I'm from Oklahoma, and pronouncing last names is not my forte. But Amanda, Tracy wants to know, what's the approximate turnaround time for the albums when you order a book, for when your clients order a book?
Well, the design process itself, well, first the selection process where the designer is going through your photos and, you know, talking to your client about what photos they want in the album. That usually takes about 3 to 5 days, you know, just the back and forth and making sure everyone's on the right page. The design process takes about 3 to 5 days as well. So this is when the designer is going through the images, placing them into the layout, and then releasing them to your client is 3 to 5 days or so, sometimes a little bit less. Now, the albums themselves are handcrafted. These are handmade albums. They're printed, and then someone is physically putting them together, making sure the binding is perfect, making sure the album cover looks beautiful. That process does usually take about 15 business days. This isn't a quick turnaround item like you may have experienced with other vendors. This is something that really takes a long time. So I'd like to tell people, especially when ordering them, try to give yourself or your client at least 30 days or more, you know, and have set that expectation for that turnaround.
Right, especially when the designer is working back and forth with the client, doing revisions and things like that. I mean, that stuff's going to take some time, especially with the communication. And then after that, so you might have said it, I might have just missed it, but after everything is said and done and the client has finalized on an order, what's the approximate usual turnaround time after that point?
15 days. So
15 days.
So you're basically right after the design and the purchase of the album itself. It's 15 days, and you know, you get to choose your shipping options. We do have overnight shipping or 2-day shipping.
Okay. Sorry guys, I know we were having some audio problems with that video. I do apologize. Hopefully it wasn't too annoying. I did do a sound check before. I'm not sure what happened, but I do apologize on that audio problem with the video. But all right, if you have any more questions for Amanda, definitely please get those in the chat. Amanda, why don't you kind of take us through a detailed, not a super detailed, but kind of a walkthrough of what this process is like for the photographer and for the client, and kind of just explain the different steps in the process and things like that.
So basically, once you upload your pictures, they see a button in the gallery that says make an album. they click that, they check out. Then it goes right to the designer, who then helps with the selection of the pictures. Your client then looks at those selections, you know, offers their own input, unchecks, rechecks all those images, you know, again, able to offer their full suggestions all the entire process. If they have favorite photos that maybe the designer didn't catch the first time, of course, they can definitely at that time make a suggestion. After that, they resubmit the gallery into the design process. After the design, they actually get to look at it. There's a virtual slideshow that shows them exactly what the layout looks like before the purchase, and then they buy the album.
And for somebody, if somebody purchases an album, and let's say a couple of weeks down the road, maybe mom and dad see it and they really like the album, is there an easy way to kind of repurchase that same exact album?
Right now, there isn't. And it is something that we're working on as we speak. We're working on getting the ability to reorder the same album right away. You know, if you do have any questions, you're more than welcome to email me directly at support@zenfolio.com. I'm the only Amanda, and I can definitely help at least get the ball rolling for you.
Yeah, and actually we had a question about that too. So Ted said, what is the name of the company that Amanda represents? So Ted, Amanda is actually part of Zenfolio's customer support team, but she's also the product specialist for our handcrafted albums. So she's the one who answers all the questions about the album, you know, helps clients with the process and things like that. So Amanda's your girl when it comes to the dealing with the albums and things like that.
Right. I'm just working with Zenfolio. I work in customer service.
But she's also a very talented wedding photographer. So, and I know you're using these albums with your clients. And as you said before, I mean, both of us have families. We both have kids. And so taking that work of designing the album for your client, going back and forth with your client, taking that workload off your plate is, I'm sure, a huge benefit for you.
It really is. And when I am describing this to people and, you know, trying to reaffirm this great product, I try and tell them that, you know, this not only takes, you know, time, gives you back time. If you're just starting out as a photographer, software is so expensive. This really, I mean, you don't even have to own any software for this. You don't have to own Fundy. You don't have to have Photoshop. You don't have to have InDesign. You know, you're really able to just send it off and leave all that work to someone else. So those, you know, as you know, are super expensive, and it is something that you don't even have to consider here.
All right, well, Amanda, so I think that pretty much wraps it up for talking about the albums and stuff like that. I don't have any more questions in the chat. I do want to say thank you so much, Amanda, for coming on and hanging out with us today. And actually, really quick, I believe that you've got kind of a tease of something that's possibly coming down the line a little bit later on, right?
We do, so I'll probably be back soon to talk about that.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with me today. And guys, thank you for the great questions. Definitely an awesome feature. And after Amanda jumps off of here, I'm going to walk you through the process of making sure that you're offering these albums to your clients. Really quick, Amanda, before you go, can photographers get a special deal on this if we want to order these in our account?
Yes, off of your first sample, you can use the code ALBUMSAMPLE50 to get 50% off your album.
And that's just through the Zenfolio account, right?
Yes.
Okay, actually, so we got one more question. Ted James wants to know how much. So can you kind of give us a price range of the album service as far as like how much the cost is to the client and things like that?
The design process itself is only $50. So that is the start of the design. The albums themselves start at $225, go up there. As you might imagine, the larger the album is, the acrylic cover is more expensive, the page thickness is an upgrade. So each thing builds, and you can see the prices laid out right in your account if you go through if you try and go through the design process yourself.
Perfect. Very cool. All right, Amanda, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will talk to you later. I appreciate it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, give me 1 second here, and we will jump back here to my dashboard here. All right. All right, let me catch up to you guys on chat. Sorry, I might have missed you guys. Let me catch up to you guys and see what's going on in chat there. So give me 1 second here. So we got Greg hanging out with us again today. Greg, always good to have you here hanging out with us. Linda Allen. Thanks, Linda. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Tracy, I can't pronounce your name. Always glad to have new people hanging out with us. I don't think I've seen you here before. I would probably remember that last name. And then let's see here. Ted James as well. It's always great to have you here hanging out. So what I want to do really quick, guys, is I just want to show you guys how to actually enable these albums in your actual account. So this is something that's right in your account. All you have to do is go and make sure that it's turned on and your clients can go and start purchasing these albums. So let me show you where to do that really quick. So what you're going to do in your account is just hop up here to Selling. And then there's a little section over to the right over here called Photo Albums right here. Now if you click on that, it's going to take you to a page where there's a lot of information about these easy album services. Now as you can see in this demo account, I've actually got this service disabled. There's a reason for that. This is a demo account. I don't want people accidentally stumbling across it and ordering some products and things like that, because everything here is just a demo, and so I've got it disabled. But what you want to do to make sure that you're offering these albums to your clients is to click on that Enable Photo Album Service right here. So let me switch over so you guys can see that a little bit better. So you're just going to switch this on right here and click Save right here. Now, while I'm on this page, one of the things I want to show you guys here is after you enable it, if you come down here, it kind of gives you some instructions. It tells you what to expect. It tells you the commission right here and things like that. And then, as Amanda mentioned, you can actually get 50% off a studio sample as long as you order this with this coupon code right here. And you can actually view the pricing and all the available options as well right through here. Just clicking this, it will bring this up and show you the different sizes. You can see the pricing and all of that good stuff right there. All right, let me get back to my dashboard here really quick. And sorry guys if we were having some audio issues. I'm not quite sure what happened. I had a nice video there for you guys to check out, but I'm not really sure what happened to the audio. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, definitely please feel free to get those in the chat about the album service, about Zenfolio in general, anything you guys want to know about. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions. So Mark Ricker says, late here too, what minimum level of account of Zenfolio do you need? So Mark, I believe to take advantage of the album service, you're going to need at least a pro account or a premium account to be able to take advantage of that album service. So if you're not sure what account level that you have, you can check that just by going up to Settings right here, click on Accounts, and then right here under Account Information, you can see Account Level right here. And like I said, I believe it's a Premium or Pro account or higher. That's the account levels where you start getting the options to sell for profit and things like that. Now, if you've got a basic account, an unlimited account, a starter account, and this album service is something that you are really interested in, you should definitely consider upgrading that account to a selling account. If you step up to the pro account, what you're going to get with that upgrade is you're going to get the ability to sell your photos and products for profit. And then you're going to get some additional features as well. You're going to be able to use custom logos, you're going to be able to use custom watermarks, and all kinds of really awesome features. For the best benefit though, if your business is really going to the next level, I would definitely consider going with the advanced plan, because it's going to get you phone support. It's also going to get you some advanced ordering options. You can integrate Miller's products and things like that. So definitely worth checking out there for that. And yeah, just as Kayla posted in the chat, you guys, for that video that I just showed a second ago, she just posted the link to the video there. Again, I apologize for the audio issues that we were having. Alright guys, if you've got any more questions, definitely please feel free to get those in the chat. You know, we can talk about anything. It doesn't have to be on this subject. If you guys are new and this is the first time you're watching the live stream, make sure to say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you click that orange Zenfolio logo somewhere in the bottom right-hand corner down here and subscribe. We put out new video tutorials every week, every Wednesday right now to be exact. And right now we just released the second video in our Improving Your Client Communications video series, where it's all about helping you streamline the communication process with your clients. So it's going to show you how to set up some custom gallery invites. It's going to show you how to edit default invites and different things like that. And then next week, the video coming out is all about creating a custom gallery invite template for galleries that are password protected. So definitely make sure that you check out the channel, subscribe to it for those videos, and every week we do this live stream as well. All right, let me jump back to my dashboard here really quick, and I'm going to start off with some email questions here. So as I'm going along, you guys, if you come up with some questions, definitely please feel free to throw those out in the chat. All right, so the first question I got here says, is there a way to create a subsection in a gallery? I want to break my wedding galleries up so it's easier for my clients to view the photos. So guys, there's actually a couple of different ways to do this. Let me show you two different ways that you can actually do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to photos right here. And the first thing that you could do, obviously, is you could create a group within your clients group. So if you're not familiar with Zenfolio, if you're new to Zenfolio, we've got 3 different things that allow you to organize your Zenfolio account. So there's what's called a group, there's a collection, and then there's a gallery. The group looks just like a folder and basically functions just like a folder on your computer with a slight difference. You can't actually upload any content into a folder. So you can't upload photos or videos into that. For that purpose, you have to create what's called a gallery. So if I expand my client group right here, you can see that inside of here, oops, wrong one. You can see inside of here are different client galleries. And that's where you can actually upload photos for your clients and things like that. So the groups are strictly for organizational purposes, and then the galleries are where you're going to actually upload photos. Now the third thing that you have is what's called a collection. And what makes a collection different from a group or a gallery is it actually doesn't hold any real information at all. Basically what a collection does is it's a place where you can put photos that are stretched out across multiple galleries and kind of contain them all in one space. Now it doesn't actually contain the photos, it kind of contains what I usually refer to as a desktop shortcut of the photos. So let me just show you really quick what I'm talking about here. If I wanted to go here and create a new collection, I'm just going to call this test collection, test. And you can see right here it doesn't have any content in it. That's because you can't actually upload content into the collection. You're going to have to pull it from other galleries that already exist. So if I click right here in this gallery, I can pick a couple of photos to add to that collection. So I can say this photo, and this photo. Let me go add this to that collection that I just created. Now what it's doing is it's not creating a copy of the photos, it's just creating a link to the photos. So if I click on this collection right here, the thing you're going to see is you're going to see these photos right here. But if I click on them, you're not going to see gallery details, you're not going to see photo details or photo access, anything like that. All of the settings for these photos are passed on from the settings in their originating gallery. So what I mean by that is if you put photos into a collection from different galleries, if one of those galleries has a password on it, the photo that came from that collection is going to have that password on it as well. And just to illustrate this, let me show you really quick. If I move a photo from this password protected gallery, which you can see right here, it has a password on it. If I move this into that collection, it's going to retain that password. It's not going to take on settings that are applied to the collection. It's going to retain the password from the gallery. So if I click on test, now we're going to go right here. Now you can see these photos are public because the gallery that they came from was public, and this one has that password protection on it. So that's the big thing that I like to tell people about collections. There's a very small few select times when I actually advise using them because it can carry different settings over from the photos originating gallery. So now that I've gone through all that, let's go back to the actual question. So the question is there a way to create subsections in a client's gallery? this person shoots a wedding and they want to break it down basically by event. You know, something like pre-ceremony photos, you know, after ceremony photos, things like that. That way it's a little bit easier for the client to view and they don't have hundreds of photos to scroll through at once. They can kind of take it section by section. Now you can do that a couple of different ways. You can do it with a main group and then a gallery for each section. So let's just say we're uploading a new wedding and I'm just going to start a new group. And maybe I would call this the Jones wedding. Hit enter there. So now I've got this new group that I've created, and what we can do is we can actually create subgroups inside of, or not subgroups, sorry, what we can do is actually create galleries inside of this group for the different sections of the wedding. So if you wanted to, you know, put all of your pre-ceremony photos, let me get myself out of the way here. If you wanted to put all of your pre-ceremony photos in here, you could say, you know, new gallery, pre-ceremony. You know, then you could do another gallery in here with the ceremony photos. And this way what you can do then is then you can send your client the link to this group and they can go and explore the photos by subsection if they want. And that kind of makes it a little bit easier for them to digest all of those photos. Now that's one way of doing it, is using a group and then different galleries. The other way is you could actually do this with collections if you wanted. So if you wanted, what you could do is you could, let me just delete this this right here. Let me just delete these galleries and I'll show you how you could do it with a collection. So I'm going to delete that blank gallery here. And I'm also going to delete this empty gallery. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Ryan and Sarah Smith right here and I'm going to move their gallery into this group. And there's a reason why I'm doing that, and I'll get to that in just a second. So what I'm going to do is click this little arrow, go to move. I'm going to put them in that Jones wedding. And now if I expand that Jones wedding right there, you can see the Ryan and Sarah galleries in there. And then what I'm going to do is just rename this really quick. I'm going to rename this to all photos. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a link to the main group right here, and we're going to create some collections that kind of subsection this out. But then we're going to also leave the option for the client to view all of the galleries in there as well if they would like to, or all the photos. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new collection in here, and let's just call this pre-ceremony photos. And then what I'm going to do here is create another collection, new collection right here, and call this ceremony. So now we've got two collections inside of this group as well as a gallery. So if I click on this, you can take a look and see there's the two collections there and there's the gallery. Let me organize this the way I want it to appear to the client first. And now let's add some content into these collections. And then I'll explain why I'm doing things this way. So now if I go here, now I can go here and I can say, okay, this photo, this photo, this photo, this photo. In fact, all of these first two rows of photos right here are pre-ceremony photos. Now if you want to know how I'm multi-selecting there, what I'm doing is clicking the first one, holding shift, and then clicking on the last photo that I want to select right there. And I've multi-selected the photos. So now what I'm going to do is just go Photos, Action, Add to Collection, and we're going to add that into the pre-ceremony photo collections right there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is add some content to the ceremony collection. Now you guys are going to have to use your imagination here with me a little bit. I know that these photos that I am selecting do not look like ceremony photos, and that's because they aren't, but just for the sake of having an example, we're going to pretend like they are. So what I'm going to do is select this photo, go to this last one down here, go back up to Photo Actions, and we are going to add those to a collection right here and call it Ceremony. So now we've got this main group that has an all photos section, and then it's been broken into kind of segments with the collections right here. So now what we can do is we can customize this, make it a little bit easier for the client to see and navigate to the specific collection or whatever they want to view. So what I'm going to do is click on the group, hover over preview right here, and click on customize. What that's going to do is that's going to load up that group page into customize view, where we can actually customize the appearance of it. So first, what I want to do is when a client comes to this link, I want to make it really obvious what these separate images are. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that each thumbnail image has that placeholder or that name showing at all times, so they can tell that these are different galleries for them to view. So what I'm going to do is go to options, uncheck use default right here, go to thumbnails, and I'm just going to say, you know what, let's show the title and text and button placement on an overlay, and let's set it to be center, and we're going to apply that. So let me just make this a full screen here so you guys can see the apply button. We're going to click apply right there, and that's going to apply these changes so that they can see that gallery title. You guys will have to excuse me if I'm moving a little bit slow. Let me just show you guys here. So like 10 minutes before I had to go live, I had some problems with my trackpad, and my only backup was basically a piece of rock. So I'm using a Dell USB plugged in mouse, and it's really I feel like I'm using a rock is what I feel like I'm using. So I apologize if you hear a lot of old school clicking and scrolling sounds. I'm trying to do the best I can. Like I said, my trackpad that I love using, it kind of messed up on me right before we went live, and so I had to use this prehistoric thing that I'm using right now. Okay, so now we've got those titles showing there. And so now, again, what this does is this makes the client a little bit easier for the client to digest. Now they can say, you know what, I want to just look at the pre-ceremony photos, I want to look at the ceremony photos, or they can look at all of the photos here. And the reason that we did that with a collection is because it doesn't actually require you to create new galleries, to upload them in separate galleries and things like that. And then obviously when you're finished with this, you would click publish to make those changes go live. All right, so let me get back to my dashboard here really quick and take a quick look in the chat here. So Katrina says, sorry, I'm late, still rewatching the beginning. Hey Katrina, better late than never. I'm glad to have you here as always, hanging out with us. She said, is there an option to drag and drop into a new collection? So if you're talking about on the back end back here, Katrina, you can't, unfortunately, you can't drag and drop like this. You can't really drag this photo out into the organizer, because basically what you're doing is you're seeing a preview of the gallery here, and then this is something completely separate right here. This is your organizer, kind of the overview tree. So there's not really an option to drag and drop into a new collection. Now you can just add to a single photo to a collection from the photo right here. So you don't have to select multiple photos. You don't have to use photo actions. You can hover over a photo and click this little, I think they call that a caret menu, but I call it a little drop down arrow. But you can click that right there, and then you can say add to collection from there as well, and that will go put it into whatever collection that you choose from. Unfortunately, at this time, there's just not a drag and drop option available. All right, Roxanne says, sorry I'm late. Hey, Roxanne, again, you know, better late than never. Always good to have you hanging out. And yes, those of you guys who are watching, if you came on late, as you know, the recording of this will be available later on our YouTube channel. There's actually a link in the video below right now. If you want to click on that and bookmark it, that's going to give you access to the full live stream archive. I'm not sure if it goes back to the very first live stream or not, but I know definitely all the live streams that we have done so far, I believe this year, you can actually go back and rewatch those if you really want to. If you want to hear me talk some more, you can definitely go back and watch those live streams. And then I think it usually takes maybe about an hour after the stream ends, and then this live stream will be in there. If you guys missed the intro, I do want to point out this week, starting this week, so I think it actually started today, and it goes up until October 31st, we are giving out double referral credits. So if you're not familiar with the referral program, what this is every account comes with a unique referral code. And if you share that code with your friends and they use that code to open up a new Zenfolio account, not only do they get a 10% discount, but you get a 10% credit deposited into your Zenfolio account, which you can then either save it for a renewal, you can order prints and photos and things like that. And starting today, running through October 31st, you're going to get double referral credits. So just to give you an idea of how much money that is, if somebody uses your unique referral code to open up a new advanced plan, that is $72 in your pocket, free and clear, from Zenfolio, just for somebody using your referral code. So you can share these out on social media and things like that and really rake in some nice money coming up for the holidays, maybe to order yourself some prints or something like that. And if you're not familiar where the unique code is, let me show you where to find that really quick so you can make sure that you're sharing this with all of your friends and out on all your social media sites. So you just need to go in your account, go to settings right here. And then over on the left-hand side, after you click on settings, you're going to see right here where it says refer friends right here. So you're going to see that. Click right on that. And that's actually going to give you your unique referral code. So click on that. Let me get to it. I must have not clicked on it very well. Again, using a rock is what it feels like. But we're going to click on that right there. And that's going to open up to our referral code page there. There we go. So your referral code is going to be right here. You just need to copy that and share that out with your friends. And you can actually scroll down here and you can copy these links, share these links out if you want to do that. You can share it directly to social media through these here as well. Again, like I said, just to give you an idea of how much that is, if somebody uses your referral code and they open up a brand new advanced plan, that's $72 in your pocket, free and clear. Now, it is only good for new accounts. You can't use this with renewals and things like that, just for new accounts there. So yeah, as Katrina is saying, refer, you know, maybe you'll be able to make up enough that you won't have to worry about Christmas and you'll have Christmas covered free and clear on Zenfolio. So yeah, share that referral code out and get some extra money for the holidays. I know I'm going to do my best too. If you guys want to use mine, there it is right there. Definitely, but like I said, definitely make sure that you're sharing your referral code out so you guys get some extra money. All right, enough about that. Let me go on and take another email question. Unless you guys have questions out there in the chat, definitely please feel free to get those in. Those of you guys who are watching the recorded version of this, if you've got any questions that you want me to answer for next week, make sure that you comment your questions on the actual video and I will answer those next week. And those of you guys that are watching the live stream right now, if you guys could do me a huge favor and make sure to hit that like button and feel free to leave a comment and share this as well if you want. I would really appreciate that as well. All right, let me jump over and grab another email question. So the next question I got here says, is there a way to tell what preset that I am using? So I know you guys that are watching are familiar with the presets. You're familiar with how they work. I think I've had this question before or something similar. Let me grab a drink of water really quick. When you sit and talk for a long time, your throat starts to get dry. Nothing else, you know, grab a glass of water. Helps me out for sure. Okay, is there a way to tell what preset I'm using? So again, I know most of you guys are going to be familiar with presets. There's not really a way to tell what preset you're using, but you can kind of look and take a guess. So for those of you who aren't familiar, let me go to customize website really quick. And this is where you're going to do any of your customizing to your website, changing presets and things like that. And while that's loading, HomePhone says, you mean we have to refer a new person? It's not a referral for somebody who already knows about you and uses your service. Yeah, HomePhone, so it has to be a new account. Now, I'm not saying that it can't be somebody who already uses our service and wants to open up another account. It just, they can't use it for an account renewal. That referral code has to be used for a new account. Okay, so this is Customize View, and this is where you can change your preset and things like that. Here is Site Preset right here. Now, there's nowhere on the page that really tells you what preset that you're using, but if you click on Site Preset, you can take a look at these presets and get a pretty good idea of what it is. So you can look right here and get an idea of what preset you're using. I mean, obviously I don't have a grid going on, so I'm not using that one. I'm using this very first one right here. Where did it go? This one right here, and that one is, I pronounce it Cirque. Again, I'm from Oklahoma. I say things funny sometimes. I've heard people say Cersei, so if anybody knows the correct way to pronounce that, let me know in the chat and forever shame me as not knowing how to pronounce that. I call it Cirque. Some people call it Cersei. I think it's probably has some kind of meaning. I should probably look that up and find out. But this is the preset that I'm using. Now, if you're not familiar with Zenfolio presets, when you apply these are the fastest way to get started when you're customizing your site, whether you're doing a site redesign or you're just starting out. Applying a preset is going to change the entire design of your website. Now, what a preset is it's basically a combination of a layout, which layouts control the composition of your page. They control what elements are where and what elements show and things like that. And then it's also a combination, so it's a combination of a layout and a theme right here. So themes control the colors and the fonts and things like that, and that's what a preset is it's basically just a combination of a layout and a theme put together that's then taken and applied to your entire website. All right, Home Fun said, was it pumpkin spice water? 'Tis the season, That was regular water. I just, I was in the military, and water is very, very important. So no matter what I'm drinking, I always try to make sure that I also have water as well. I do have pumpkin spice coffee sitting beside me here that I'm going to take a giant swig of really quick now that you said that, because it definitely is the season. All the pumpkin spice beers are out and things like that. But yeah, just regular water in that cup. All right, let me jump back to my dashboard really quick here and take another email question. So let's see. The next question I got here says that let's see. Can you give me some tips for marketing to my clients? What can I do with your tools to grab their attention? Yeah, so there's lots of different things that you can do with the built-in Zenfolio tools. One of the things that I would recommend that you start doing immediately is building an email list. Now, whether that's through MailChimp or something like that, there's actually a tool inside of Zenfolio that you can use. There's actually a tool inside of Zenfolio that you can use to capture visitors' emails when they're going to a gallery. So if you're doing shoots like wedding photography, sports and events and stuff like that, where you've got a single gallery and you're expecting lots of people to come visit, that is the perfect place to turn on that visitor sign-in and start building that email list that you can market to. So let me show you how to turn on visitor sign-in and show you what it does. So if we go to photos right here, and again, especially wedding photographers, sports and event photographers, where you're going to have a lot of people coming to this one certain gallery, great way to build your email list, which is a really good first step in marketing to your clients. But let's say right here, I've got this Smith gallery right here, and it's a engagement gallery, and I know that they're going to be sharing it out with their friends on social media. I know they've got, a huge family. And so what I want to do is I want to monetize on that as best I can and use that to my benefit and make sure that I'm capturing all those emails, because those are potentially people who I could later on down the road do a photo session with, or maybe they're interested in buying products and things like that. You can start that email list this way. So if you click on this, what we're going to do is go over here to visitor sign in, and you can see I already have it turned on, but let me just click on it so I can show you the options that you have. Display a visitor sign in right here, And then basically what it's going to do is it's not like a password field. It's something that pops up before people start going and actually into the gallery and see the photos. And you can have a visitor messaging here. You can change this if you want. Usually I leave the standard please register to view the photos. You can add some optional text here as well. And then there are these sign-in fields. Now, for me, I think that a name and email required is the name required, definitely. The email required, I'm kind of on the fence about that. So just a personal opinion. Depending on what I'm doing, I would be inclined to either give my email address out or not give it out. If I'm checking out a friend of mine's wedding gallery and I know it's from a reputable photographer, I'm not going to have a big deal at all about giving out my email address. So usually for me, when I'm setting up visitor sign-in, I set that to be required. Phone number, you can forget about it. I'm not going to give anybody online my phone number. I already get way too many calls as it is anyway from people telling me that they can make me #1 on Google. So I want to keep my phone number offline. So I don't even show that normally. But you can set it up and have it show as an optional thing there if you want to do that as well. But I usually leave mine set to not show. Now, if you want to ask some additional questions, you can ask some additional questions as well. Here, if you want, you can click on here and ask them, how did you hear about us? Whatever questions you want, and then you click save. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to display a little pop-up. And I know I've showed you guys this before, but that's going to display a little pop-up when somebody goes to the gallery, and basically it's going to ask them just for that information, their email address and their name and things like that, which then that information is going to be stored in your communications section. Now, the really cool thing about this is, let's say it's been a couple of months since I've shot that Smith gallery, and maybe I give my clients a 3-month online gallery, and I'm about to take this one offline, but I want to see if there's anything I can do to drum up some last-minute sales. What I can do is I can go to communications contact lists, and I can actually sort my contacts by who signed into what gallery. So I'm going to go to clients, Smith right here, and this is where that marketing section comes into play. Everybody who had signed into that gallery through visitor sign-in would now show up here, and I can click on here and I can select them all and send them an email offering a coupon, just telling them thank you for checking out the photos. If they've got an event that they need photographed, I would love to sit down and talk to them. Whatever kind of marketing email you want to send out to them, you can definitely do that. If you want to build custom marketing email templates, you can definitely do that as well, and market out to the clients that were specifically visiting that gallery. So you can tailor it to those people, whether it's a wedding gallery or a sports gallery or something like that. Now, there's a lot of other features in here that I can show you guys. There's coupons and things like that. I'm going to save that stuff for another live stream next week. Let me jump in and get some of you guys in chat really quick, because I want to make sure I don't forget you, miss your questions, and get you guys' questions answered. So Katrina says, which link gets us to all of the live stream? So if you go to the actual channel, Katrina, there should be a link that says live stream archive. But then in the description of this video below, there should be something that says like live stream archive, and it gives you a link there. So if I could get Kayla to throw that link out in the chat, it should be on the video description. It says live stream archive, and it'll give you a link to all the past live streams that we did this year. We've got about 10 more minutes left, guys, so please make sure that you get those questions in the chat. Roxanne says, if we like a certain template, but we only want to change the color of the background, can we do that? Can a gallery only be changed in that way? So Roxanne, you've definitely got some options there. If you like a specific preset, but maybe you want to change the background color, you can definitely do that. Let me show you really quick. So let me go to photos, and I'm just going to open up a gallery and customize you really quick. Well, first, let's do this. Let's go to the home page. Since I think you are probably asking about, if I've applied a preset to my website, and then I want to change the gallery, maybe a specific gallery or something like that, is there a way to do that? So first, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this preset. So Roxanne, I'm going to change it to something that should be pretty obvious. Here, let's see. Let's go with this purple one right here. So that's a dark purple, if you can't tell right there. I'm just going to apply that, hit continue, and then I'm not going to publish it because we're just doing this so I can show you an example. If you wanted this change to go live out to your clients, you would definitely need to make sure that you click that publish button up here on the top right corner. Now, as you can see, there's no content here showing, so let me just add some gallery content really quick. I'm just going to add my portfolio group content right here, hit select, and apply that. But now, let's say I'm pretty much happy with the way that my homepage looks, except for maybe I'm not a fan of, well, let's make these a little bit smaller first. Maybe I am not a fan of, the purple background. So let me just change these thumbnail heights so we can kind of get them showing there on the homepage, and then I'll show you how to change just the background color. But you can keep everything else the same. So you're not changing the preset other than just the background color. Let's say I like the layout, I like the way it looks, which I don't really like this, but I just want to change this background color. What you can do is you can open up Theme Designer and just customize the background color. So for those of you guys who've been watching, you know I always recommend working in Theme Designer in a separate tab. So we're going to go open in a new tab. Theme Designer takes a little while to load, so that's one reason why I open it in another tab. The other reason is because sometimes it's not real obvious what element you're trying to change, and it takes a little bit of playing around back and forth. And if you open it up in another tab, it lets you jump back and forth. So here we are in another tab. What we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to go Themes, Edit Theme, and this is going to start loading up Theme Designer. So that's loading up Theme Designer, and then in the same, we've still got this tab opened up with Customize View, so I can switch back and forth pretty easy. So we're going to find this background color right here and change it. So what I'm going to do is go here, and the background color is pretty easy. You're just going to click on this. We're on the Style tab right here, which the Style tab controls a lot of the main elements. So I'm going to click on this, and right over here you can see background color. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. You can see background right here. Let me click on this, and we will get that color change. So let's change it to this bright, woo, that bright blue there. We'll hit done. Now, one of the things I recommend, Roxanne, is never saving over the original theme. So I'm going to click Save As, and I'm just going to call this Roxanne's theme. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I'm going to call it Roxanne's theme. Wow, that's really bad, you guys. I apologize. Roxanne's theme. There we go. Third time is not a charm. My keyboard is also acting up on me today. Not having a good day with my mouse or keyboard. Okay, so we've got those themes saved there. We saved it. So now if I go back here, what I'm going to do is hit the refresh button. And then I'm going to change this over to that custom theme. So I'm going to go Theme. Right here is Roxanne's theme. I'm going to click Apply, and that is going to change it. Now, that is probably going to change your gallery themes if you just started using this preset, because most of the time the preset sets up the rest of your galleries to use the theme that is applied to the home page. You can change that if you want. So now that we've made that change right there, I'm just going to leave it alone. And if I click into a gallery here, I'm not sure if this gallery is probably not following the default settings there, but you can see the background has changed. But if I don't want it to change, maybe I want it to stay the same as the home page was, you can apply the theme from this right here. So you can change the theme independently on your galleries as well as the home page. So they do not have to follow the same theme at all. You can independently change them. You can independently change them between galleries and things like that. You have a lot of control over this. However, personally for me, I kind of like everything to look the same and be consistent, because it really sets the client's expectation. They know where things are at. They know what things are going to look like and stuff like that. So for me, personally, I like things to stay consistent. Hopefully, Roxanne, that kind of answers your question. I know I've got a really good video tutorial on the channel for Theme Designer. So if I could get Kayla to throw that video tutorial link in the chat, Roxanne, definitely check that out. It will help you go through the process of theme designer, things like that. And then there's also a video that's all about customizing your gallery thumbnail pages and things like that. I would check that out as well. All right, guys, let me catch up to you guys here in chat. So Greg says, love to see more tutorials on fine art photographers such as myself, since I don't shoot weddings and events. Greg, that is a great topic. And in fact, what I want to do, guys, and especially Greg, you guys, if you guys have stuff that you would like to see me talk about in future episodes, you don't have to ask questions. If you have a topic that you would like me to discuss, that's not a word. If you have topics that you would like for me to discuss, such as, you know, marketing yourself as a fine art photographer, setting up your website as a fine art photographer, leave those as comments on the live stream so I can make sure and get that content scheduled and we can cover those topics. So no matter what you guys want to talk about, leave them as a comment on the live stream, on the recording, and I will make sure to try and discuss those topics. I'm going to see if I can answer your guys' questions in chat really quick. We are out of time, but I'm going to try to get your guys' questions answered. So Katrina says, can you show adding a graphic logo instead of a text logo? Katrina, I don't have a graphic logo prepared. What I will do is I will add that to the list of content. If you want to send out an email, Katrina, just send it to zenfolio.com/contact attention Robert, and I will definitely be happy to work with you on that logo, getting a graphic logo and uploaded like that. There's also a really awesome support article as well. If I could get Kayla to throw that out in the chat. If not, shoot me that email, Katrina, and I will get you that article. Okay. Last question here. Ted says, when I view my images in the gallery, I am seeing images in the background. Turn off the lights. How can I turn off all the background lights? Do I have any options? So Ted, it sounds like what you're saying is that when you go to dim the lights mode, you're still seeing the images in the background. Unfortunately, there's not a way to change that to where it completely blacks out the images. It's going to be a little bit transparent when people click on that. There's not really any customizable options on there. Unfortunately, there's just not. Anyway, guys, I hope that answers your question. Ted, Roxanne, Katrina, I hope those answered your questions. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Again, I want to say a big thanks to Amanda. You guys remember, we do this every week, same time, same place. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to click subscribe. Until next week, I hope you guys all have a really awesome and wonderful weekend. Thanks again for hanging out, and I'll see you guys all next week.